Hi everyone. Today I decided I'd do the news note with a video. And a couple of weeks ago I preached about Jesus and Nicodemus and spiritual friendship, finding fellow journeyers, and I referenced this book, The Book of Joy, which is a book that describes conversations between the Dalai Lama and Archbishop Desmond Tutu, written by Douglas Abrams. And this morning I was looking back through it because there's a section on loneliness, and I thought that might be interesting for us in this time of social distancing and isolation. And I want to read to you some words from the Dalai Lama about loneliness because I think it's really useful for us. So Douglas Abrams says, "Your Holiness, we finished our last session talking about loneliness, and I wanted to come back to the subject for one more question. Monks spend a lot of time alone, so what is the difference between being alone and being lonely?" And this is the Dalai Lama's response. "Monks separate themselves from the material world, not just physically, but mentally. Christian monks are always thinking they're in the light of God, dedicated to serving God. We cannot touch God directly, so the only way is serving God's children, humanity. So we are never really lonely. Much depends on your attitude. If you are filled with negative judgment and anger, then you will feel separate from other people. You will feel lonely. But if you have an open heart and are filled with trust and friendship, even if you are physically alone, even living a hermit's life, you will never feel lonely." And Douglas Abrams responds, "It's ironic, isn't it? You can spend 3 years, 3 months, 3 days in a cave and not be lonely, but you can be lonely in the middle of a crowd." And the Dalai Lama says, "That's right. There are at least 7 billion people, and the number of sentient beings is limitless. If you are always thinking about the 7 billion human beings, you will never experience loneliness." And that really captures my attention today, because I think that it's natural at a time like this, when so many of us are isolated, we're stuck at home, we're practicing this social distancing and not seeing the folks we're used to seeing. It's natural that we become self-focused and we begin to feel lonely. But I wonder if we can take the Dalai Lama's words and use them as our inspiration. I wonder if we open our hearts and orient our hearts outwards in these days, even when we are physically alone. And that can be through communications, picking up the phone and calling, sending emails, texting friends, but also through prayer, through meditation. What if, instead of focusing on ourselves and our own experience, we take some time to sit in quiet prayer and hold the needs of our neighbors, our community, our nation, our entire world in our hearts? For me, I find that whenever I'm focused on my own struggles, my own challenges, my own pain, if I pause and pray for others, somehow it always seems to lighten my own load. I don't know why that is or how that is, but I know it to be true. And so I want to offer that to you today with inspiration from the Dalai Lama. I hope you're all staying safe and healthy, and we'll speak again tomorrow.